Hi and welcome. This yoga practice is designed to create some space in the body, particularly creating length in the hamstrings and the sides of the body. Ideally, you'll need a couple of yoga blocks for this, but you can also use a pair of hefty books or Tupperware containers that are similar in size. As always, please be mindful with your body and trust it to guide you through the practice, adjusting it as necessary. Let's start in a comfortable seated or kneeling position, whatever that might look like for you. And of course, feel free to use any props to make yourself more comfortable here. Find a grounding contact through your sitting bones or shins. And in the opposite direction, find a lengthening, lightness in the crown of the head. Soften your face and your shoulders. Open the space between the collarbones. Relax the lower belly to encourage the breath to flow down. Breathing in a way that feels familiar to you, that makes you feel safe and in control. And for a moment, close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Hear every inhale and exhale. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your rib cage expand, your belly inflate. Get to know your breathing. And if at any point you need to take a break, try to think back to this moment. Come back to this steady, familiar, comfortable breath. Bring your awareness to the rest of the body, gradually scanning through for any signs of tension, signs of fatigue, discomfort. Also becoming aware of the more neutral sensations that normally go unnoticed, like the contact with the ground, the texture of your clothes, the temperature of the air as it brushes past your skin. Bringing your mind to your practice, maybe even setting an intention, what you're hoping to achieve, what you're hoping to achieve. Feel free to keep your eyes closed for a little bit longer, adding some movement into the body, inviting it in to awaken gently, bit by bit. It could be as subtle as shifting the weight side to side, or as major as stretching out, unbending, squeezing, flexing. Coming back into a cross-legged position, or if you were coming into a cross-legged position, settle back down with your spine upright. This time, a slight engagement in the ribs and a lower belly to support the spine. Take a breath in, reach the arms in a big circle overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows, bring the thumbs to the back of your neck. Maybe push the head against the forearms to open the chest forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release the arms. Keep your left fingertips on the floor as you inhale and reach the right arm up. Exhale, walk or slide your left hand away from you, allowing yourself to bend sideways. Ground through your right hip as you reach your right arm over and up. Lengthen through the side of your body on the right and breathe into the space you create in the rib cage. Make space between the left shoulder and left ear. Avoid sinking down into it. And on the next breath in, reach up again, bring the palms together. Exhale, bring the thumbs to the back of your neck, open the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, slide or walk your right hand away from you to enable a side body stretch on the left this time. Open the side, the ribs, the armpit, the shoulder, maybe looking up from underneath your left arm. Keep your left hip pinned to the floor. Inhale, lift back up to a tall spine, palms come together at the top. Exhale, hands to the back of the neck, open the heart forward. Breathe in, reach the arms overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, simply to lengthen. Exhale and twist to your right, turning the chest and shoulders, sending the sitting bones down into the ground. Reach your left hand across, maybe to your hip or side of the thigh, right hand behind. Take another breath in to lengthen and exhale. See how far you want to twist without creating discomfort in the body. If it's appropriate, turn your head and look over your right shoulder. Keep the spine tall the entire time. Keep your left hand where it is. Turn to face the front and cross your right arm on top. Bend your elbows, bringing either the backs of the palms together or palms together for full eagle bind. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lift the elbows, separate the shoulder blades. Exhale, tuck the elbows to your belly button and bring the chin down to chest. Inhale, lift again, stretch the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, pull in into a little ball. One more breath in, lift up. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale, take them up in a big circle, palms at the top. Exhale, hands to the back of the neck. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Another breath in here, simply to lengthen. Exhale, invite yourself to twist left this time, moving from the shoulders and chest, using your obliques to help you. Then reach your right arm across, find some friction, some contact with the left thigh or hip, left hand behind you. Another inhale to lengthen, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Use the contact of your hands as leverage. Maybe turn your head and look over your left shoulder. Come back to face the front, cross your left arm on top of the right this time. Bend your elbows, either bringing the backs of the palms together or placing the palms in contact for eagle pose. Inhale, lift the elbows, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, curl up, elbows to belly button, chin down. Inhale and lift again. Exhale and curl. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, roll in. Inhale and lift. Exhale and release. Let's find our way forward onto hands and knees, however you want to do it. If you were sitting on the block, move it out of your way. And as you come into tabletop, Make sure that the palms are underneath your shoulders and open wide, fingertips and thumbs pressing into the floor. Spread the weight through the entire hand and not just in your wrists. Meanwhile, knees are underneath the hips. We're going to tuck the toes in for this one. Try to keep the feet hip width apart, just the same as the knees. And make sure all 10 toes are curled under. Pressing firmly to your points of contact. A little hug from the lower belly to support the spine, and a little openness between the collarbone. Treating your torso as a single unit. Move in a figure of 4 formation, stretching into your feet and adding some weight into your wrists. If you're concentrating really hard, just make sure you're still breathing. See if you can reverse your figure of 8. Find your way back to tabletop. Press into the palms, inhale, open the heart between the upper arms, drop the belly without releasing the core. Exhale, pull the belly into the spine, tuck the head and tailbone under, cat pose. Alternating between the two, using your breath as a guide for the rhythm. And choose how far you want to go today. You don't have to push it. Find whatever feels comfortable in your cat-cow. And come back into tabletop. Step your left foot back, rest it on the ball of the foot, press the heel back to stretch through the calf. Slide your right hand forward, rest it on the fingertips, find your balance. Make sure the hips and shoulders stay level. Then slide your left foot across to the right side of the mat or even beyond. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, see if you can take a look over your right shoulder, see if you can spot your left heel. Couple of breaths here, feel that openness in the left side body. And come back, sling your left leg, bring the left knee and your right hand back to tabletop. Same on the other side, slide your right foot back. Slide your left hand forward and find balance. Still distributing weight between all 4 limbs. Slide your right leg behind you and across, maybe outside of your mat. Take an inhale to lengthen, exhale, twist left, look over your left shoulder. You might be able to spot your right heel or not. Don't sink into your right arm, push the floor away. Slide your right leg back, bring the hand and the knee under, toes tucked. Let's lift into our first downward facing dog and just find some length in the spine here. Broaden through the collarbones, but squeeze the upper arms together. Press the entire palm down, soften through the knees generously as much as you need to. And then feel free to add movement that makes sense in your body that eases you into this familiar pose. Maybe you're pedaling through the feet or squeezing the knees up and down or lifting the heels. Whatever it is you need to do, take your time with it and gently walk the feet in towards the hands. Come into a standing forward bend. Feet hip width apart, parallel to each other. Send the hips slightly back, bend the knees even more generously and grab hold of the opposite elbows.
Your upper body cascading over thighs, head just hanging down. Stay still, grounding through your feet, or add a little sway from side to side in your ragdoll. Come back to center, release the arms down. And keeping the knees soft, start to roll up through the spine, gradually building your body into an upright position. First stacking the hips over the ankles, then uncurling the spine, shoulders over hips, pull back, lift your gaze forward, open the palms, mountain pose. Then reverse that, chin to chest, soften through the hands, roll the shoulders forward, round your back, bend the knees a little more so you can come back into this fold. Upper body just hanging down, hinge at the hip. And again, gently roll it through the spine. Keep your head relaxed down, keep your shoulders slumped forward until you build the rest of the spine up on top of itself. Roll the shoulders back and down, open the palms, find your mountain pose. Ground through all four corners of the feet. Chest is slightly open, but not bulging forward. Lift through the crown of your head as you send the roots down. Let's take an inhale and reach the arms overhead. Exhale, fold in half, bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift, reach your body forward. Exhale, hands to the ground and step your right foot far back, land your right knee. Inhale, push the hips gently forward and open the heart. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Soft knees. Inhale, push forward into plank. This time we'll roll the knees to the ground. Exhale, gradually lower yourself down to the front of your body and untuck the toes. Reach back through the toes. Inhale, roll up into baby cobra, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, push up onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes, lift all the way up in down dog to the exhale. Softly walk your feet in towards the hands. Make your way back to Uttanasana. Hands to shins, half lift as you breathe in. Exhale, roll all the way back down. Inhale, lead with the crown of your head as you stand up tall. Bend the knees a little bit to ease the transition. Then reach the arms overhead, palms together at the top. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, arms over. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Option to keep the fingertips on the ground. Exhale, down. Step your left foot back this time. Knee to the ground. Inhale, a gentle push forward through the hips and a lift through the center of the heart. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. You're welcome to stay here this time or come for another vinyasa. Inhale into plank, knees to the ground. Exhale, soften all the way down to your front body. Untuck the toes, breathe in, slide up to your cobra variation. Exhale, come down to the belly. Inhale, lift the hands and knees, tap the toes, and back to downward facing dog. Press into the hands, push the hips back, soften through the knees, soften through the heels. This time, staying here, plant your left foot as firm as you can. Inhale, reach your right leg back. Then bend the knee, open the hip, point the toes. Take the ankle for a little circle in both directions. And take the knee for a circle, nice big circle. And again, both directions. And pull the knee in towards the chest as you come forward into plank, and step your foot between the hands, lowering the back knee down. Maybe lifting onto blocks at this point just to lift through the heart, make the next transition a little bit easier as you come into an upright torso position. Lengthen the tailbone slightly down, even if it makes you come out of a deep lunge. Inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhale, open the arms wide, palms shining forward. Again, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, open wide. One more. Inhale, arms over. Exhale, reach forward and frame your right foot. And this is where you might need your blocks. So place them either side of your right foot and start shifting the hips back, opening through the back of your right leg. Lift onto the right heel and keep the bend in the back of the right knee. You use the friction to pull the heel in towards your right hip. Find your Hanumanasana. The beauty of the blocks is that you can go higher if you need to, and you can bring them closer so they are directly under your shoulders here. Try to level out your hip bones. This might require squeezing the right hip down or squeezing it in. Take another breath, lengthen forward through the crown of your head and the center of your heart. And exhale, move forward into your lunge again. From here, you may set the left block aside. Keep pressing firm into your right block. Turn the back shin 90 degrees, so now the left foot's pointing right. And then pressing the right knee into the right upper arm. Start twisting left, stacking the left shoulder on top of the right and reaching the left arm up. Take another breath here. Move the gaze down, move the hands down. Set your blocks aside so you can firmly plant the hands, lift the back knee and step into downward facing dog. Take a moment to reset again if you need to add any movement. Then firming your right foot into the floor, inhale and lift your left. Point the toes, bend the left knee, open the hip. Make sure the shoulders stay square, neck relaxed. Few circles through the ankle, going in both directions. And few circles through the hip. Float forward into plank, taking your left knee with you. Step your left foot forward between the hands and lower the back knee. Maybe lifting onto blocks as a transition or going straight up into an upright position. Once again, adjust. Once again, if you feel that you tilt in the pelvis forward and arching in your back, tuck the tailbone, hug the ribs. Once again, if you feel like you're tilting the pelvis forward, lengthen the tailbone down, hug the ribs in a little bit. Keep the shoulders open. Inhale and take the arms overhead. Exhale, open wide, palms open forward. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Inhale up. Exhale, reach forward, lean down to frame your left foot this time. And again, if you need your blocks, grab them now. Set them under your shoulders as you move your hips back, opening the back of your left leg, lifting onto the left heel and creating a little dragging sensation. Pull that left heel into your left hip. Squeeze the thighs towards each other. Squeeze the thighs towards each other. Lengthen forward through the spine. Remember, you can lift higher or you can bring the hands closer under your shoulders.
Similarly, if you find that after a while you feel more comfortable, more open, you're welcome to set the blocks on a lower height or remove them altogether. Now let's take another breath in. On the exhale, bend the front knee, come back into a lunge. Keep hold of your left block, set your right block aside. Turn the back shin 90 degrees, untuck the toes. Press your left knee into the left upper arm. Then stack your right shoulder on top and twist open to your right. Breathe here for a few paces. Come back down, set your blocks aside, turn the back shin, frame your left foot, tuck the toes, and come back to standing in Uttanasana. Step your right foot forward and spill your body over the legs. Soften the knees, soften the head. Let's bring the hands to shins or fingers to the floor for a half lift. Take a breath in as you lengthen. Tuck the chin slightly to your throat. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, lead with the crown of your head. Soften the knees as you stand up and reach the arms in a big circle overhead. Exhale, hands over down to the heart center. Step your right foot nice and far back and turn to face the long edge of your mat. So the distance between the feet is usually about 3 to 4 feet. A good rule to measure it is to open the arms and try to position the feet approximately under your palms. But depending on your comfort and level of flexibility, you can bring the stance a little shorter or a little wider. Let's bring the hands to our hips. Find the sharp hip points at the front. Turn your left heel to face the front edge of your mat. Right toes turn slightly in. Usually in this position, the front heel intersects the arch of the back foot. Making sure we're not tilting the pelvis forward or back, up or down, left or right. Sink into the front knee until it comes into a 90-degree bend. Keep your shoulders over the hips and see if you can turn a little bit more to the long edge of the mat. Meanwhile, move your left hip in the opposite direction. Squeeze it open. Push your right thigh back and tuck the tailbone slightly. Inhale, take the arms open. Imagine that someone's pulling you on either side in both directions. Bring your gaze to the middle finger of your left hand. Take a couple of calm breaths here. Settle into the pose. On the next inhale, we're going to reach up nice and high, arms overhead. Exhale, bend a little lower. Inhale again, arms over. Exhale and down. Inhale, arms overhead. This time, keep the front knee lifted. Exhale, open the arms, reach forward. And as you tilt your body, keep facing right. Keep lengthening through both sides of your waist. Let your left arm drop, and wherever it intersects with the leg, press the back of the palm to the inside of your leg as you lift your right arm up. Stacking the shoulders again, broadening the space between the shoulder blades. Lifting through the fingertips of the top arm, maybe bringing the gaze up as well. Try not to lock out the front knee and bend it a bit more if necessary. Take another breath in, see if you can lift out of your triangle pose a little higher. On the exhale, soften the front knee, reach your right arm back, come back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg, turn to the front of your mat and give your hips a good shake. This time, turn your right toes to the back of your mat. Right heel lightly intersecting the left arch. Turn the left toe slightly in. Keep the hips level as you bend your right knee to a square. Sink into the hips. Remember, you can broaden the stance if it's too short, and vice versa. Shoulders stay over hips, tuck the tailbone down. Open the arms, bring the gaze to the front hand. Take a couple of breaths, just settling into the pose. Feel the strong line between one hand and the other. On the next inhale, strengthen your right leg, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, open the arms, gaze to the right hand, sink into the right hip and open it up. Inhale, arms over. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, arms over. This time, keep your right leg straight, open the arms. Exhale. Inhale, reach forward, lengthen through your body, then drop your right arm. Where it intersects the inside of your right leg, find the contact, find the twist, open the left shoulder, reach your left arm up, maybe following the hand with your gaze. Press into the mound of your big toe on your right foot. Make sure you're not peeling off. Bend into the right knee a little bit to stop overextending the back of the knee. Take another breath in here. Bend the front knee. Exhale back into your warrior two. Inhale, front leg opens. And then turn the toes to the front of your mat. Relax your arms. From here, turn both heels in towards each other slightly, so the toes are at about a 45-degree angle. Bring your hands back to your hips and keep the shoulders over the hips as you start to lower into a wide squat, our goddess pose. If your thighs come parallel to the ground, that's where you stop, but you could be somewhere higher up. Make sure your knees track over your middle toe. You can stay here or open your arms into a cactus, broaden the shoulders, lift through the crown, and breathe, a nice fierce pose. Use momentum, lengthen the arms and legs, reach up, and exhale down. Heel toe the feet towards each other, and come back to the front of your mat. Find your mountain pose, open the palms forward. Lengthen the tailbone, hug the ribs, open the shoulders, lift through the crown. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, hands to the back of the neck. Open the heart up. Inhale up. Exhale down into forward bend. Inhale, half lift. Exhale down into downward facing dog. Plant your hands and step back. This is our last down dog, so make the most of it. Feel free to add any movement or a variation that you enjoy. From downward facing dog, carefully lower the knees to the ground. Switch to a seated position and scoot your sitting bones towards the center of the mat so that you've got space behind you. Extend your legs forward, feet hip width apart, just like in our mountain pose. Press the sitting bones down, and you can use your hands to roll the thighs from underneath you out, creating some space between the sit bones, creating a more steady base. Take a few moments in Dandasana. If you notice that your big toe or your pinky is pushing forward, pull it back. Try to keep them level. From this position, cross the tops of the feet, right foot on top of the left. Flex your left foot towards you as you push your right toes into the left, creating some resistance in the legs. Keep lengthening through the spine. Unlock. Squeeze the heels in and open the toes out. Find some rotation in the hips. Press into the ground. Don't worry about keeping those legs straight. Bring the feet in, separate them again. Cross this time with the left foot on top of the right. Flex your right foot in, press your left toes out. Create some resistance here, push the hands into the floor, lengthen through the spine. Separate the feet, squeeze them in and point the toes. Soften through the feet. Slide the heels slightly in towards you. Bend the knees, grab hold of the underside of the knees. Take an inhale to lengthen the chest forward. And exhale and pull yourself in very gently towards your thighs. If you quite deeply bend here, you might be able to sling your forearms under your knees and give yourself a hug. Otherwise, just try to keep your shoulders soft, let your head hang, and take a moment or two here. You might feel safe and comfortable enough to close your eyes. And when you're ready, walk your hands back. Rest your back on your mat. And find a version of Shavasana that you prefer. You may enjoy keeping your arms and legs long, with some distance between the ankles, between the wrists and the hips, palms facing up. You might prefer having your palms on your belly so you can better feel your breathing. Or keep your knees bent and knocked together, or slung over a bolster. Whatever final position you end up in, bring your mind back to your breathing. With every exhalation, find some softness, a form of release, even if it's tiny. And if your mind wanders, gently bring it back. Use your breath as an anchor to keep you in the present, to keep you awake and aware as the body rests and softens. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. Or if you're ready to invite movement into the body, gently wiggle your fingers and toes and awaken your body through movement. Perhaps adding a full body stretch, reaching the arms and legs in a long line. We'll all finish by pulling the knees into the chest. Press your lower back into the ground. Feel the ground supporting you from beneath. And allow yourself to rock from side to side. Roll over onto one side. And take a moment to gather your thoughts before you help yourself up into a seated or kneeling position. Find the same length through the spine we had at the start. Rest your hands together at heart center. And take another breath with me, a long, deep inhale. And a cathartic exhale. Open the eyes and take it all in. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice. I hope you enjoy it, and I'd love to hear any feedback you may have for me. Have a beautiful day.